Hi guys, it's Steph here from the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to talk about my 2021 goals. Now this is going up a fraction later than I would have liked, but I had filmed it and then I realised when I was editing that I had missed a whole section of stuff, so I decided to just refilm it and upload it for you. This goals video is mostly going to be about my reading and my YouTube channel goals. The one personal goal that I will share with you is that I have selected my one little word for the year, which is something that I do every year, which is basically choosing a word that is going to be my intention for the year. In 2020 it was balance, and I actually did manage to do a lot of that because one of the offshoots of being in lockdown for close to 6 months was that I had the best work-life balance I've ever had, and then that all disappeared when we came out of lockdown. So I've got to continue to work on that. But for 2021, I have chosen the word flow. I think that I just need to take some time to go with everything that's happening, to accept things, to not stress out about too many things, and to just be mindful of myself and what I need and what other people around me need. So my word for 2021 is flow. In terms of my book goals for 2021, I suppose the one that everyone or most people set every year is their Goodreads goal, which every year I set it at 52 books. That is regardless of whether I read one book or 400 books like I read this year. But my Goodreads goal always sits at 52 books because I don't use Goodreads as a metric for my reading. I do obviously like to try and match or maintain my reading from year to year, but I also don't like the pressure of saying, hey, you have to read over 100 books. Or over 200 books, or you have to read 400 books because in 2020 you read 400 books. I think that's ridiculous. So 52 books is one book a week, because if I have a good week and I can read, fantastic. If I have a bad week and I can't read anything, you know what? That's totally fine as well. So yes, while I have picked 52 books, who knows what I'll read? I just want to read and I want to read what I enjoy. My second reading challenge is to participate and complete both the Psy Changeling readathon and also the Immortals After Dark readathon. These are two Discord-based groups that have live shows for them. I am co-hosting the Psy Changeling one. I will leave a link to that announcement on the screen. And the Immortals After Dark one, I just want to be a participant in it because I would really like to finish that series. I also want to make sure that I complete Read Digital every month. That's going to be my personal reading challenge that I set and hopefully share with you just before the start of every month so that you guys have a bingo board in advance, which is a combination of reading challenges and also some bookish wellness challenges, but I will leave a link to that announcement on the screen as well. I would also like to make sure that I'm continuing to share reviews, not just on my YouTube channel, but also on my blog. I do have a reading review blog. I have been okay at updating it this year. Primarily it's been the review copies that I've been sent or the NetGalley arcs that I've received that I have reviewed, but I would like to get better at reviewing some of the other books, particularly the ones that I really enjoy, because I would like to share those with other people. And then Shay from Shay Geeks Out shared her TBR shelf bingo board with me and I decided to use it. It's a year-long challenge that you can put any sort of prompts in that you like, and it's basically for you to read through your TBR. So you tailor it to the things that you have to read. I'll pop it on the screen and I'll really quickly go through what I picked. I do have it here on my screen that I need to read off because there are 25 squares and 25 challenges. So the first one is to read or DNF all of the books that I acquired in 2020. My second challenge is to complete Read Digital every month, which I've already spoken about. This year I want to write at least 60 book reviews on my blog. I would also like to read 4 more Sarah MacLean books. If I read more, that's great, but 4 is my benchmark. I've talked about rereading the Psy Changeling series, which is another challenge that I've set for myself. I want to read at least 48 LGBTQIA+ books throughout the year. The at least is important in a lot of these because this is like minimum expectations for myself. I also want to read 5 Nikki Sloan books because I've heard a lot about her. I've read one of her short stories and now I'm just really intrigued and I want to read more of her books. I'm not sure if Romanceopoly is continuing. This is a year-long romance reading challenge hosted by the girls from the Under the Covers book blog, but if they are hosting it, I will probably participate in it, and even if they don't, I may just use this year's board and continue that challenge for 2021. I want to read at least 12 books recommended by friends of mine, so that could be that they've either come up to me directly and told me to read something, or that they have recommended something in either one of their YouTube videos or on Instagram, and I'm just going to choose to read those. I want to read at least 12 paranormal romance books. I want to read 5 more Sierra Simone books. I completed 2 of her series this year, but she does have other books out there that I would really like to read, so I'm hoping to get through more of her books. I want to read at least 8 science fiction books this year. I do have probably at least 8 physical science fiction books sitting on my shelf, and also a whole stack that are coming out that I'm anticipating, so hopefully I can get to all of those. Sci-fi was my first love in books, so I would like to continue reading those. I want to read at least 12 of the books off my anticipated releases video, which I will leave linked on the screen. This is a totally random one, but I've started watching Virgin River, so I would like to read the first book in the Virgin River book series so that I just have an idea of the source material and where the show came from. I might continue it, I may not, but I just want to try and read at least that one book. I want to read at least 10 work book club books. So I host the book club for my staff at the school, and we generally don't set books in January or December just because they're really crazy months for us. But I'm hoping to set the books and make sure that I read all of them from February to November. My Goodreads challenge is on here to read 52 books. We've already talked about that, and my weird philosophy on setting targets for books. I want to read at least 2 Olivia Dade books because she's an author that I have heard a lot of interviews with and heard a lot of people talk about, but I have not yet read any of her books, and I'm really excited to pick them up. I want to read 4 anthologies. I've really enjoyed reading anthologies this year, so I would like to continue that, and I have a whole stack of them sitting on my Kindle that I would really like to get to. I would also like to read at least 12 Australian books by Australian authors, and preferably set in Australia, because I tend to read a lot of international stuff, but I'm also a big supporter of Australian books. I just have to find them in the genres that I really like. So yes. That will be the challenge this year. I would like to read 3 more books in the Mercy Thompson series by Patricia Briggs, which is an urban fantasy series that I am really enjoying. As I mentioned earlier, I'm also going to be reading Immortals After Dark by Chris Nicole. I also want to read at least 12 new to me authors this year. I think that is highly achievable. I want to read at least 48 BIPOC authors. So that is Black, Indigenous or person of colour authors. Again, the at least is the really important word in there. So I'm hoping to read well over that. The at least is in there so that I sort of have an initial target, and then I want to try and push past that as well. And then finally, this one totally contradicts my 52 books for Goodreads challenge. I want to read 100 romance books. And no, I can't tell you why that I've got 2 conflicting challenges in here. It's just the way that my brain works. Why does my brain do this? I don't know. We're just going to roll with it. So those are my reading challenges for 2021. In terms of my channel goals, I am going to continue to put out 3 videos a week. My posting days are going to change slightly in terms of my schedule. So in Australian Eastern Standard Time, my videos are going to come out on Tuesday, which is going to be my books beside my bed video, then Friday, and then on Sunday, which for anyone in the US, it'll be Monday, Thursday, and Saturday my videos will come out. We'll see how it goes. I might change that up after a month or 2. I'm just going to see if this new posting schedule works for me. I do want to incorporate more book recommendations videos, so grouping things into topics. So if you have any suggestions for things that you would like to see, feel free to leave them in the comments. However, keep in mind that I'm not actually going to be necessarily reading outside of my preferred genres just to do recommendation videos, because chances are if I do that, I won't have as many recommendations, because there's a reason why I read the things that I do. But if you have any specific tropes or subgenres or anything like that that you would like recommendations on, feel free to leave that down below. Happy to add it to my list of things to recommend in 2021. I do want to try and incorporate a little bit more planning back into my channel, so I will be hopefully sharing some of my digital book journaling and maybe some overviews of my planners and how I'm using them in 2021. I'm not going back to Plan With Me videos, and I'm not going to be doing it as regularly as I was. That's just not where my headspace is anymore, but I do want to try and incorporate a little bit more of that into the channel. So if that's something that you're interested in, stay tuned. Hopefully that will be coming up when I can figure out what it's going to look like. I want to attend and or host more live shows in 2021. I'm pretty excited. I am hosting a live show in the upcoming week about goals and goal setting with some of my very good friends from the Romance Booktube community, so hopefully you'll join in. That's already been scheduled, so you should be able to find it and set a reminder if you'd like to. I really want to stay up to date with replying to comments on my channel. I've been pretty good over the last month. I want to get back into a routine of doing that, where if I can't respond to them within 24 hours, that I'm definitely getting to them within 2 or 3 days of videos going up. This may depend and change a little bit on my work schedule next year, but for the moment, my goal is to sort of do it within 48 hours. Alongside that, I also want to get better at commenting on people's videos. I have been trying. I watch a lot, and then quite often what I do is, without even thinking about it, I click off and start watching the next video, and that's very bad of me. I'm trying to leave more comments. So if I start just leaving totally random comments on your videos, that's why. The other big one is I really want to stay up to date with captioning my videos. I was not particularly good at it in December, for which I apologize, but I have been trying to get back into that. And fingers crossed I can maintain that in 2021 because I think it's really important. So those are my reading and my YouTube goals. I'm pretty excited to see how I can manage these and maintain them. In the comments, if you have a specific reading goal that you would like to share, feel free to leave it down below. I'd love to chat to you about them. And don't forget, you can always pop onto the live show next week and join us and have a bit of a chat about goals and goal setting. I know that it's a really popular thing at this time of the year, being the new year, but also that people just like to talk about it and have a chat and hear how other people set goals and how they track them and all those sorts of things. This is my last video for December. Thank you for sticking through 31 days. I'm really sorry you'll have another video tomorrow, but it's a Friday, so I'm sticking to my 2021 posting schedule. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you are staying safe and healthy. I hope that you have a wonderful start to the new year, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.